Ladies, gentlemen, and beings of all classifications, my voice boomed through the crystalline speakers of the Grand Galactic Arena. Welcome to the 743rd Annual Intergalactic Combat Championship. I adjusted my third eye enhancement to better survey the crowd of 50 million spectators. The energy was electric, tentacles waving, light patterns flashing, and atmospheric processors working overtime to handle the collective excitement of dozens of species. I'm your host, Blazark the Magnificent, bringing you another spectacular year of combat excellence. I paused for the customary applause. The sound waves nearly overwhelmed our dampeners, and what a year it promises to be. The holoprojectors activated, displaying the tournament bracket in shimmering gold against the dark matter ceiling. Names from across the galaxy scrolled past champions from the Andromeda Alliance, warriors from the Crab Nebula Collective, and even a few surprise entries from the Outer Rim territories. But then, there it was. The name that had caused such controversy in the selection committee. The one that had nearly started a diplomatic incident. A competitor from that backwater planet Earth. And yes, my distinguished guests, I said, letting a note of amusement color my voice, we do have another human contestant this year. The expected wave of laughter rippled through the arena. I couldn't blame them. Earth's previous attempts had been entertaining, to say the least. There was the boxer who lasted all of 12 seconds against a Regelian powerlifter. The wrestler who tried to perform what they called a suplex on a gelatinous being from Betelgeuse that had been particularly messy. And who could forget last year's MMA fighter who had to be teleported out after attempting to tap out against a telepathic octopoid? Now, I chided the audience, while secretly enjoying their reaction. Let's remember our charter of interspecies respect and dignity. After all, Earth is still new to the galactic community. Only 50 years since first contact. Why, that's barely enough time for a Jovian cloud whale to finish breakfast. More laughter. I was on a roll today. But this year's human contestant claims to be different, I continued, bringing up the registration hologram. They call themselves a practitioner of ninjutsu? Our translation matrices are still processing that one, folks. The betting boards were already lighting up. The odds against the human were astronomical, 10,000 to 1 at last check. Several wealthy Plutonian mineral barons had already placed massive bets against Earth's latest champion. And speaking of our contestants, I switched smoothly to the next announcement. Let's review the rules for our newer spectators. Victory is achieved through submission, incapacitation, or, I paused for dramatic effect, voluntary withdrawal to avoid the former two options. The crowd murmured appreciatively. They all knew the unspoken rule: nobody had ever won through voluntary withdrawal. In the arena, it was fight or fall. Our medical facilities are staffed by the finest regeneration specialists in 12 galaxies, I assured everyone, as legally required. And our ethics board has approved all registered combat techniques, including but not limited to quantum manipulation, gravitational distortion, psychic warfare, and yes, even that quaint Earth practice of punching. Or chuckles. Really, these humans made my job too easy sometimes. So prepare yourselves for 7 days of unparalleled combat. Place your bets wisely, keep your protective shields activated, and remember the Grand Galactic Arena takes no responsibility for any temporal paradoxes that may occur during matches. As the crowd roared their approval, I secretly pulled up the human contestants file on my neural display. Something about this one felt different. The registration image showed only a black-clad figure, face obscured, with a simple note attached ready to show the galaxy what Earth can really do. Well, I thought to myself, at least it should be entertaining. It always was when humans were involved. Little did I know, this tournament would change everything we thought we knew about that tiny blue planet and its supposedly primitive inhabitants. The first sign that something was different came during the opening ceremony. While other contestants made grand entrances, the Centaurian champion riding in on a wave of pure energy, the Neptunian warrior materializing in a shower of frozen time crystals, the human simply walked in. And now I announced, trying to inject some excitement into what looked like another disappointment, representing Earth, please welcome, Akane Blackwood. No flashy effects. No dramatic music. Just a figure in black, moving with such fluid grace that several of our gravity sensors malfunctioned trying to track the movement patterns. Well, I said into the confused silence, it seems our human contestant believes in the subtle approach, though perhaps they could not afford the standard entrance package. The audience laughed, but I noticed several of the more experienced warriors watching with unusual intensity. There was something about the way Blackwood moved. A ninja scoffed. Kranex the Destroyer, 8-time champion from the Orion cluster. We are supposed to fear a human who plays dress up. Where are your laser cannons, your quantum disruptors? Traditional methods have their place, Blackwood replied, voice calm and clear. The translation matrix struggled to capture the tone. Was that amusement? Tournament director Marcus Steele watched from his private observation pod, expression unreadable behind his enhanced optical implants. Strange, I thought, how a human had risen to such a prestigious position in just a few decades. The conspiracy theories about his true identity seemed particularly active today. The betting odds have just been updated, I announced, drawing attention back to the proceedings. Our human contestant is now at 15,000 to 1. Any takers? I'll take that bet. Steele's voice cut through the arena. Put me down for 1,000,000 credits on the human. The crowd buzzed with excitement. Had the tournament director lost his mind? Or did he know something we didn't? Bold move from our esteemed director, I said, recovering quickly. Though perhaps Earth loyalty overcomes good business sense. Steele didn't respond, but I saw him tap something into his neural interface. Moments later, my private channel lit up with a message. Watch carefully. Blazark. History is about to be made. The other contestants were less impressed. The Jovian brothers, massive beings of pure plasma, began a complicated mockery dance. The Martian cyber warrior ran probability simulations showing Blackwood's defeat in 10,000 different scenarios. Even the usually stoic Plutonian meditation master cracked what passed for a smile on its quantum probability face. Only Blackwood seemed unchanged, going through what appeared to be a series of flowing movements in one corner of the arena. Several spectators complained their recording devices mysteriously failed whenever they tried to capture the practice session. The preliminary matches begin in 1 hour, I announced, trying to move things along. Contestants, please report to your designated preparation chambers. And remember, quantum entanglement with alternate timeline versions of yourself is strictly prohibited this year. As the warriors dispersed, I noticed something odd. The arena's sophisticated threat assessment systems, capable of tracking everything from dark matter manipulation to temporal distortion, showed absolutely nothing unusual about our human contestant. Nothing at all. In fact, according to our most advanced sensors, Blackwood barely seemed to register as present. That should have been my second warning. I caught a glimpse of Steele making his way to a secure communication chamber, his usually perfect composure showing cracks of what might have been excitement. The last time I'd seen that expression was moments before he had revolutionized the entire tournament structure with his multidimensional battle royale concept. Blazark, my assistant's worried voice came through my private channel. The quantum odds calculators are malfunctioning. They keep showing undefined variables when processing the human's potential outcomes. Probably just another equipment failure, I replied confidently. You know how Earth's primitive technology tends to confuse our systems. Remember the smartphone incident. But as I watched Blackwood continue those mesmerizing movements, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were all missing something obvious. Something that might just rewrite the rules of what we thought possible in the grand galactic arena. Ladies, gentlemen, and quantum superpositions, my voice carried through the arena once more. Our first match features Earth's Akane Blackwood against the undefeated champion of the Proxima system, the magnificent Nova Burn. The crowd erupted as Nova Burn emerged, his body a swirling mass of plasma and dark energy. The temperature in the arena rose several degrees despite our best containment fields. Nova Burn has never lost a first-round match, I reminded everyone, enjoying the spectacle. In fact, no opponent has lasted more than 30 seconds against his patented Nova Strike technique. The betting odds shifted again. Now 20,000 to 1 against Blackwood. Only Steele's original bet remained unchanged. Begin. The signal rang out across dimensional space. Nova Burn wasted no time, his form expanding into a miniature sun. I will show you true power, little human. Witness my weight. Where did you go? The audience gasped. Blackwood had vanished. No teleportation signature. No quantum displacement. Just gone. Most irregular, I commented, checking my sensors. It seems our human contestant has... Oh! Blackwood appeared behind Novaburn, moving with impossible speed. Before anyone could process what happened, the ninja's hand struck several points on Novaburn's plasma form. Ridiculous, Novaburn laughed. Physical attacks cannot harm my quantum plasma matrix. Why can't I move my left side? The laughter in the arena died. Novaburn's legendary plasma form was solidifying, growing dull and heavy. Blackwood continued striking, each movement precise and deliberate. Impossible, someone in the crowd shouted. They're using primitive nerve strikes on a plasma being. Not nerve strikes, Steele's voice cut through the chaos. Quantum pressure points. The ancient arts adapted to modern combat. Novaburn tried to activate his Nova Strike, but his energy wouldn't respond. Blackwood moved like shadow and smoke, each strike turning more of the plasma champion solid until... Thud. Novaburn hit the arena floor, fully solidified, unable to move. Silence. Complete and utter silence. I checked my readings again. I don't believe it. Victory to Earth's champion, Akane Blackwood. In 28 seconds. The crowd exploded. Not in cheers or boos, but in confused shouting and demands for explanations. The quantum betting computers crashed, unable to process the impossible odds. An impressive technique, Blackwood said quietly, bowing to the fallen champion. But plasma beings have quantum pressure points, just like all matter. It's simply a matter of understanding where to strike. I noticed several other contestants frantically updating their combat strategies. The Jovian brothers had stopped their mockery dance. The Martian cyber warrior was attempting to analyze what just happened, its processors smoking from the effort. Well, I tried to maintain my composure. It seems Earth's ancient arts have some bite after all. Though surely this was merely a fortunate matchup. The next round will. The next round, Steele interrupted, will be even more interesting. He was smiling now, really smiling. Show them, Blackwood. Show them what humanity has been hiding all these years. Blackwood simply nodded and began another set of those flowing movements. This time, I noticed something new. The arena's background radiation levels were fluctuating in perfect sync with each motion. Update the odds, I announced, my professionalism winning over my shock. Earth's champion now stands at 1,000 to 1. The bookmakers were in chaos. No one had ever seen odds shift so dramatically after a single match. But as I watched Blackwood help the still stunned Novaburn to his feet, explaining in quiet tones how to reverse the solidification, I realized we weren't just watching a tournament anymore. We were watching history being rewritten, one impossible victory at a time. The next few days were unlike anything in my centuries of announcing. The archives would struggle to capture the sheer improbability of what we witnessed. Round 2 brings us Earth's surprising champion against the Jovian Thunder Twins, I announced, trying to maintain my usual flair. Beings of pure electrical energy, undefeated in doubles combat. The twins struck first, merging into a storm of lightning that filled the arena. Spectators activated their strongest shields as bolts of quantum lightning crackled through the air. But Blackwood danced. There was no other word for it. Each lightning strike hit nothing but afterimages. The ninja moved through the storm like water through air, hands weaving patterns that seemed to redirect the very energy itself. Unprecedented, I shouted as both twins crashed to the ground, their energy somehow knotted into complex patterns. Victory to Earth in 3 minutes, 14 seconds. The betting odds dropped to 100 to 1. Next came the Martian cyber warrior, Nexus Prime, with its predictive combat algorithms and quantum processing power. The fight lasted exactly 6 minutes. Another stunning display I narrated as Nexus Prime systems rebooted. It appears Blackwood somehow created a quantum feedback loop in the targeting systems using nothing but synchronized breathing patterns. The odds fell to 50 to 1. The Plutonian meditation master lasted longer, almost 15 minutes of pure psychic combat. Audiences watched in awe as Blackwood matched the aliens' mental attacks with what they called focused spirit energy. Could someone explain to me, I asked during the post-match analysis, how a species without natural psychic abilities just won a mental battle against a being of pure thought? The odds dropped to 10-1. Between matches, media coverage reached fever pitch. Galactic news networks ran endless speculation about Earth's secret combat arts. Conspiracy theories flourished. Had humans been hiding their true capabilities since first contact? Was this why they had seemed so unconcerned about their technological gap? The human shows no signs of augmentation, complained one analyst on Galaxy Sports Network. No quantum enhancements, no neural upgrades, not even basic genetic modifications. It goes against everything we know about combat evolution. Fear spread through the competitor ranks. Several warriors withdrew, citing mysterious injuries. Others demanded rule changes to ban what they called primitive but inexplicably effective techniques. The qualifying matches continued. Blackwood faced a time-bending warrior from the Crab Nebula, neutralizing their temporal attacks with something called Zen state of no mind. A swarm intelligence from Betelgeuse fell to precisely timed strikes that somehow disrupted their collective consciousness. Ladies, gentlemen, and quantum intelligences, I announced before the quarterfinals, we are witnessing what many are calling the greatest upset run in tournament history. The odds on Earth's champion have now reached. Can this be right? Even money. Through it all, Blackwood remained unchanged. Each victory was followed by the same respectful bow, the same quiet offers to explain the techniques used. Several defeated opponents were seen training with the human between matches, attempting to understand this strange blend of ancient wisdom and quantum combat. Tournament director Steele watched it all with that same knowing smile. His prediction of history in the making seemed less like madness and more like prophecy with each passing match. "Tell me, Blazark," he said during a private moment between broadcasts, "have you figured it out yet? Why Earth never seemed concerned about catching up to galactic technology?" Because they had something else all along, I guessed. My third eye enhancement trying to track Blackwood's practice movements. Because Steele replied, "Sometimes the longest way around is the shortest way home." Earth spent millennia perfecting the art of moving with the universe, rather than trying to force it into submission. We just never thought to look for power and simplicity. As the semifinals approached, the remaining contestants watched Blackwood with a new emotion I had never seen in the grand galactic arena before, respect tinged with genuine worry. These beings, who could reshape reality with a thought, found themselves uncertain before a human armed with nothing but ancient knowledge and perfect control of mind and body. The betting computers had given up trying to calculate the odds. The quantum probability matrices showed all possible outcomes simultaneously. The only certainty was uncertainty itself. Tomorrow, I announced to close the day's events. We begin the semi-final matches. Will Earth's impossible run continue? Can these primitive arts truly stand against the greatest warriors in the galaxy? And why does tournament director Steele look like someone about to unveil the greatest practical joke in galactic history? The answers, I suspected, would shake the foundations of everything we thought we knew about combat, technology, and the true nature of power in our universe. The semi-final match was set to begin when everything changed. The disruption started with a simple security scan routine procedure for high-stakes matches, but something about tournament director Steele's biosignature triggered every alarm in the arena. "Ladies, gentlemen, and interdimensional beings," I announced, trying to hide my confusion, "we are experiencing a slight technical." No more delays. Steele's voice boomed across the arena. His optical implants flickered and died, revealing eyes that glowed with an impossible blue fire. The time for masks has passed. The security scanners hadn't malfunctioned. They had finally, after 50 years, seen through the most sophisticated disguise in galactic history. By the quantum core, I gasped as Steele's human appearance melted away. That's impossible. Where Marcus Steele had stood now towered a figure from legend Lord Shadowstrike, the last grandmaster of the Zentari Empire's feared shadow arts. The same empire that had mysteriously vanished 5,000 years ago, leaving only myths and warnings. Yes, Shadowstrike's true voice resonated through the arena. We did not vanish. we found something far more interesting, a primitive planet whose warriors understood truths we had forgotten. A planet called Earth. The crowd erupted in chaos. The Zintari Empire, rulers of half the galaxy before their disappearance, had been hiding on Earth. Learning from humans? Our mighty empire Shadowstrike continued, had mastered quantum mechanics, bent space-time to our will, but we had lost something essential. The connection between mind, body, and the fundamental forces of reality. Earth's warriors showed us the way back. Blackwood stood calmly in the arena, seemingly unsurprised. The partnership was mutual, wasn't it? You taught us to adapt our arts to the quantum realm. Indeed, Shadowstrike smiled. Though few now remember, Earth was once home to an outpost of our empire. The humans' ancient stories of mystical powers, fragments of our teaching, preserved and evolved in fascinating ways. We returned 50 years ago not to conquer, but to learn and restore balance. My mind raced through historical records. The timing of first contact, Earth's surprisingly quick adaptation to galactic society, their lack of concern about technological gaps, it all made horrible sense. The tournament, I realized, this whole spectacle. A demonstration, Shadowstrike nodded. The galaxy has grown stagnant, relying too heavily on technology alone. The Zintari learned this lesson painfully, but Earth kept the old ways alive, blending them with new understanding. Now, at last, it's time for the galaxy to remember what we forgot. The remaining contestants murmured among themselves. Many were already attempting to mimic Blackwood's movements, seeing them in a new light. The semi-final match, Shadowstrike announced, will proceed as planned. But know that you watch not just a contest, but a resurrection of lost arts that once bound our galaxy together. I looked at my display screens, trying to make sense of the political chaos erupting across every channel. The return of the Zintari Empire would reshape alliances, challenge assumptions, and... Wait, I turned back to Shadowstrike. If you're here, and Blackwood knows these arts, then that means... Earth was never just a primitive planet playing catch-up, Blackwood replied with a slight smile. We were the guardians of knowledge your galaxy had forgotten. And now we're ready to share it again. The betting odds displays exploded in a shower of sparks. The quantum probability computers finally gave up trying to calculate the implications of this revelation. Well, I said, falling back on professional habit, this certainly puts a new spin on our tournament coverage. The semi-final match will begin in 5 minutes. And may I say, in all my centuries of announcing, this is definitely a first. As the arena prepared for the next match, I couldn't help but notice how the other contestants now watched Blackwood not with fear or dismissal, but with dawning recognition. They were seeing, perhaps for the first time, a glimpse of what the galaxy had been before technology had made us forget the simpler, deeper truths of combat. The championship match arrived with unprecedented fanfare. Every viewing screen in the galaxy was tuned in to witness Earth's champion face the defending tournament winner, Supreme Commander Galaxius. The moment has arrived, I announced, my voice carrying across dimensions. In one corner, our mysterious human champion, now revealed as part of a greater legacy. In the other, the being who has dominated this tournament for the past century. Galaxius entered the arena in typical fashion, his nano-swarm body swirling with every color in the spectrum. A being of pure technological perfection, he had never been defeated. Your primitive arts are impressive. Earth warrior Galaxius's million voices spoke as one. But I have evolved beyond the need for such things. I am the pinnacle of technological achievement. Blackwood said nothing, moving into a ready stance that somehow made the arena's quantum fields ripple. Begin. The battle that followed defied description. Galaxius unleashed his full arsenal nano-swarm attacks, quantum disruption fields, temporal displacement strikes. His body split into 1,000 forms, each attacking from a different dimensional angle. But Blackwood moved like water through rocks, finding spaces that shouldn't exist. Each motion flowed into the next, turning Galaxius's own power against him. The ancient arts met quantum computing in a dance of impossible beauty. Remarkable, I shouted as Blackwood redirected a nano-swarm attack back through a temporal loop. Ladies and gentlemen, we are witnessing a fusion of styles never before seen. The battle reached its peak when Galaxius deployed his ultimate technique, the Omega configuration. His entire form collapsed into a quantum singularity, threatening to consume the arena itself. "You cannot counter raw power," the commander's voice boomed from within the singularity. Blackwood's response was unexpected. "I don't need to counter it. Supreme Commander, would you like to learn something new?" The singularity paused. "Your technology seeks to control the universe," Blackwood continued, hands moving in ancient patterns. "Our arts teach us to move with it. Perhaps we could do both." What happened next changed galactic combat forever. Blackwood began performing a kata that somehow resonated with Galaxius's quantum matrix. The nano swarms responded, following the movements like students learning a new form. "Impossible," Galaxius exclaimed. But his voice held wonder, not anger. The singularity transformed, becoming a swirling dance of energy and motion. Technology and tradition, power and precision, united in perfect harmony. "Victory!" I paused, checking my sensors. "Victory to both competitors, by mutual evolution." The crowd's confusion turned to awe as they watched Galaxius and Blackwood move in sync, their combined power creating patterns of indescribable beauty across the quantum field. The old ways and the new Shadowstrike's voice rang out, as it was always meant to be. And so, for the first time in the Grand Galactic Arena's history, the championship ended not with a defeat, but with a transcendent partnership. The tournament's conclusion shook the foundations of galactic society. Combat academies across space began incorporating Earth's ancient arts into their training. The barriers between traditional wisdom and advanced technology crumbled as species learned from one another. Who would have thought, I mused during the closing ceremony, that humanity's greatest contribution to the galaxy would be teaching us to slow down and breathe? But the biggest surprise came during the award presentation. As Blackwood and Galaxius stood together on the victory platform, their combined energy signatures triggered something in the arena's ancient systems. Hidden quantum processors hummed to life, revealing a message older than the tournament itself. "Congratulations," the message read, "on rediscovering the true purpose of the Grand Galactic Arena, not to crown champions, but to unite fighting styles across the cosmos. Signed, the first tournament director." The signature matched perfectly with the founder of the Zentari Empire. Sometimes, it seems, the longest game is the one played across millennia, and Earth, that primitive planet we all underestimated, had been part of the plan all along. Same time next year, I asked the galaxy at large. The response was unanimous. The real games were just beginning.